I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.
As this is Daniel Alexander Cannon, we're going to take a look at an update today for what is going on in the Middle East. We're looking for something a little closer to the truth, so we're trying to monitor what we have access to in order to determine some things that might be going on and see if it matches what we're hearing at all. Whether it matches or not, that's going to be up to you to determine and to decide. We're going to look at recent strikes in the last 24 hours here in just a minute. And we looked at Israel yesterday and went through those. And they were matching up with energy production locations, that kind of thing. But first, we're going to look at this. This is an earthquake map. Reason why we consider earthquake maps is because when very large bombs, larger than the mother of all bombs, the Moab, when bombs that are larger than that in the realm of what they call nuclear explode, they leave a earthquake signature. Okay, and that signature will be around a 4.1 or higher, at least a 4.0 or higher, up to, well, they can get pretty big, I guess. Mother of all bombs only leaves like about a 2.1 on the Richter scale. And so we're going to see what has happened in the last, this is actually the earthquakes on this map are all from since the 28th of February. So the beginning of the so-called conflict, right? And let's see here. I think I have, yeah, I'm going to click to animate it, and you can see how these play out. You can see there's quite a few along in here through Iran, which this is a fault zone and normally does produce earthquakes. What's been interesting is that almost all of these through this realm here are about a 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. And I didn't make up the fact that small 1 kilo nuke weapons leave a signature of a 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. But that's what most of these are all through here, which we can look at. Also, you notice over here, almost off the map, there were a few. One up here in Turkey, and another one here, I think, in Turkey as well, and a couple off the coast. And what those are, it's hard to say. They could be just simply earthquakes, and possibly so could these. But we're paying attention, right? So I'm going to animate this, though, so you can see how they all kind of played out since the 28th. This is planned since the 28th. And you can see them populate based on time. And we're fixing to hit some more here. And there you go. That's the whole population of the earthquakes. It's interesting right in here, right in this date right here, which is about the March the 6th. Okay, you can see that one popping on right there. March the 6th. Right in this area, there were quite a few that popped off. A little group, and then another group of 4. So there were 4 here. 4 right there that are popping off. A couple of those were actually out in the sea over here, in the Mediterranean Sea. And then another group of 4 right here pop off, which are up in Turkey. And Turkey is involved in this conflict, whether you realize it or not. But these earthquakes, for the most part, seem to be kind of grouped. It'll go a few days, and then all of a sudden you'll get, in 1 or 2 days, you get 4 pop off. So like these 4 popped off in 2 days right there. Then you get over here, you go from the 7th all the way over to the 10th, from the March 7th all the way to about the 10th, March 10th. Then you get the 4 more popping off. And just kind of curious. Don't mean it means anything, but we're paying attention. So now let's jump over to the interactive map for what this map does is it tracks fires via the NASA balloon satellite system that they have. When they have them all across the planet, and but they can detect when there are a fire at a particular location. Now, we looked at Israel yesterday, and every earthquake basically matched up, about 8 out of 10 matched up with an energy production location, like a solar farm or an energy production plant, things like that. And well, that's what they're claiming they're hitting, right? At least the last time I heard. And I suspect it'll be interesting to watch this as we go forward and see what it shows. Now, does it mean that this map's going to show everything that they're doing? No, probably not. But maybe it will, because it's been pretty accurate so far over in Israel. Now, I thought we would come in here and look more at this area today. You can see these are all supposed fires, right? And of course, when something goes kaplooey, there is a fire. But the interesting thing is, it's like right here off of Qatar here, you have all these strikes down here. You see all these little dots here. And well, those are all military establishments, bases and things like that. So it is very likely that these are going kaplooey. Now, this is all in the last, well, since midnight, okay? So these are all very recent. There's no old data on here. Let's zoom into this double tap right here and just see what is at this location, for instance. Okay, well, you can see, zoom into more probably. You can see a little bit better. You can see this is a, looks like some type of oil-related production, I would say. What it kind of looks like. And for some reason, the strikes took place over this way, according to the mapping system. So let's pull this down and look at what actually it's saying it hit. So we're supposedly this area here, whatever that is, and not sure. Maybe it's a whale. Maybe I'm not sure. Somebody might know. You can leave it in the comments if you can see that and know what that is. Leave it in the comments. And then right in here is the other area that got struck. Now, could these have been a fire? Maybe, but if it is a fire, they both caught fire in the last 1 to 3 hours. Okay. See there, the color? You got basically not a deep red, but you got an orange. That means in the last 1 to 3 hours, we had a fire at both of these locations. It's more likely, because of its location, that it was something else that caused the fire to be picked up. Okay, so now let's take a peek at another one, see what else we hear, or excuse me, see what else we see. Let me back out here, and it looks like we got one that's about 3 to 6 hours old right down here. And let's see what we see here. This, it looks more military-ish, but I'm not sure. You got these Well, they could be oil wells. Looks like a platform here, kind of a platform or square. See it? One here as well. Another one here. Small one here. Another bigger one here. And another bigger one here. And another one over here. And looks like something caught fire. Not sure for sure. But again, we're just trying to pay attention. There's a lot of these kind of things around here, as you can imagine, being what this country lives off of, literally the blood of the earth, which we drive around in our cars using it. Now let's zoom in on this one and see what we got at this location. This looks actually more like a double tap because of its shape, but can't say for sure. And doesn't look like there's anything there. Maybe they missed. These overlays are actually normally pretty accurate from what I've seen so far. Now we do have another, I guess, a well over here. So maybe it was a miss or maybe it was a shoot down. Possibly as well. So let's zoom back out and we'll jump to a different location. And since we've kind of looked there, let's go up here because we've had quite a few fires up in this area. Let's see what right here what we got. We got a double tap there. There were 2 fires at this location. Now you can have in these types of places, you can have where they're burning off. They'll have a tower that is burning off excess gas of some kind. And normally, though, you can see it on the map. And when you get this pinpointed, anyways, you can see it on the map as to what it might be. But I don't see one, but I'm looking at this on a very large screen. I think it's a 50-inch 4K monitor. So I can see it very well. If you're on a cell phone, you really, to get the most out of this, you really need to be putting this on a larger monitor somehow. Maybe casting it to your smart television. Hopefully you're not watching regular television, because I can assure you, you ain't going to get nothing but lies from there for sure. Okay, let's look. There was another one here. Okay. Now this one, see right here, I said normally you can kind of see them if it might be just a fire that's being picked up that is actually burning off. Now see this smoke right here? I don't think this map is updated enough to be showing a strike location, actually the actual smoke from it. But we do have smoke emanating from right here and coming out this way. So that, in this case, possibly, I mean, look how pinpointed exact it is. Look right at the center right there when I turn that on. It's exactly in the middle of the square. So that is pretty accurate. That shows you how accurate it is to placing the marker right on the dot of where it sensed a fire signature at. And I'll imagine if I continue to do this over time, I imagine I'll end up seeing some of these locations more than once. I thought I'd seen one right in this area here when I was coming in. I know I did, but it disappeared. There's a double right there. And of course, this is energy production and getting things ready to go on ships, that kind of thing, storage and production. And so that's not surprising that maybe, just maybe, it might have gotten hit, right? All right. So let's jump over again. This is all in the last since midnight, so it's less than 24 hours. Okay, let's jump over here, and again, we've got some that are out here in the ocean. Now, why do we have a double tap out here in the ocean? I don't know. There's I don't believe there's any land here. No land, but there were two fires. Did something get hit in the ocean? Very well could be. All right, so let's go over here and let's see if we can tell where it looks like the most activity has been. One here kind of close to the Strait of Hormuz. And it looks like mostly the majority of the action is right up in here. Quite a few like double taps and such in this area. So let's go right into here. And of course, once again, energy production with signatures of fires that are taking place all along through here. Again, could be, I see a little hint of smoke right here. Could be, yep, see the smoke right here? Coming off this way. Yep. This could be, it's picking up the signature from the smokestack. In this case, I don't know if it's all of the cases, but it could be. Let's back out of here. Let's go up here, right in this area. We're seeing a couple that we're showing up here. Okay, here's another good example of the smokestacks you kind of have to watch out for. See, there's a tower right there with a fire on the tip, but it's a small fire. This one's got a bigger fire, and you can see the smoke and the shadow of the smoke coming off of it. So in that case, it was picking up the fire coming off of this one right here. And again, look at the tip of it right there, how accurate this plotting is. It's almost dead center of the square. It's pretty accurate for NASA's balloon satellites. Their network is apparently working. All right, let's see what else we see. What would we see up around Tehran? Or that's up in this area here. I don't see too much up here. I do see a couple though. See those two right there and one right here. Let's check this one and see what's out here that got kaplooied. Looks like possibly a double tap. And I don't know what that is and why that would get hit. Could have been a shoot down. I don't know. Could have been a fire in the yard. You know, it's not going to pick up real small fire. I mean, you know, really small fires like you burn a little bit of trash out in the yard. But it does pick up fires pretty good. Let's look up here at these two. This is right on up into their capital city. And we'll go here first, I guess. See what this is. Looks like storage tanks. I think. Storage tanks of some kind. Or they were. All right, let's go back and get this one over here and take a look at it. Maybe more storage tanks. That's what it looks like. Looks like they're taking out these storage tanks and stuff in here for this area. I imagine they have a lot of storage tanks, and they've known that a lot of these things would get blown up at some point, possibly. And I would imagine there's a lot of it that is underground as well. You know, They've got everything else hidden underground. And this is, don't forget, this is ancient Persia. This is not a new city area. This has been around for thousands of years. They've been digging in these mountains for thousands of years. See one out here. Let's check that one. Looks like a couple of fires at this location. Although I'm not sure what that is. Is that solar? If it is, it's not very, it's not like the others I've seen. I'm not sure on that one, guys. Anybody know? And I see one up here too, to the north, out by the water or by the lake. Or really it's a sea. I think they even have a name for it. On the other side of this is Russia, actually. You go right from here, cross this water, and you'll find Russia. Literally bordering that water. Let's see what this is out here in crop growing land, it looks like. Well, that don't look like a good thing, but maybe this is just actual fire. You know, they can have a house fire or whatever, but this looks like agricultural type land. So, don't know, you know, I don't think there is a way to verify this. I can click on this and get a little bit more information. But discerning and understanding exactly what this information means as compared to other things, it's kind of hard to say. This brightness, it talks about the brightness of it, and that's a 335. So that's higher than the brightness of what I've seen with a lot of other ones. Normally they're below 300, so it must have been a pretty good fire. I would think anyways. All right, what do y'all guys want to look at next? I mean, we could look at these locations all day long because they're just probably, well, there's hundreds for sure. Hundreds for sure. I did save a couple over in Israel. Let's take a look at the couple that I saved over in Israel. These were new ones that, at least I believe, based on my memory, these are new ones that showed up in the last 12 hours or so. And that was located on, see if I can get 24 hours and it'll show up. Maybe not. Oh, there it is. Yep. So again, we're talking about a solar farm, a floating solar farm. I would assume something because this is relatively small. They're using this electricity probably to grow crops, because what is it surrounded by? Crops. So if you knock out the electricity that's being used to water these crops out here in the desert, because that's where you're at, is really in the desert. You knock out the electricity and you got a problem. And then it don't take long and all your crops are dead. So all they got to do is keep knocking out these. See some more over here. Knock those out. Knock the ones down here out. And they keep knocking them out. And you ain't gonna have no food or no electricity if you get any additional off of something like that. All right, I saved another one here in Israel that was newer. Newer also right here. This was in less than 24 hours. And of course, energy related, right on top of the, oil and gas production facility here. So they got a problem at this location again as well. And, you know, you're losing electricity, you're losing oil production capability, you know, because if you blow up this thing works like a circuit board, okay? All this here and this and this. When you destroy part of it, it basically highly likely will take down the entire production plant, you know, because that's just how they work. It works like a circuit board in a computer. If you go in there and burn a hole in your motherboard, your whole computer's gone. And these things work very similar to that. All right, let's take a look real quick, excuse me, at the current weather as well, because I like paying attention to the weather as well as other things. I didn't want you to open up. So not a lot going on, although we do still have some storm activity going across Kuwait with quite a bit of lightning strikes as well. If I come here to this map, this has got live lightning strikes. Well, there isn't that many showing up there. On here, most of the lightning is showing up over here in Lebanon and north of there going into Turkey. Let's look over Lebanon going into Turkey. So, yeah, you do have a bit of a disturbance that has moved through there. And maybe that's what's producing the lightning that we're seeing. And one of the reasons, again, why I pay attention to weather is because he who controls the weather controls the world. I'm sure some of you have heard that before. And so you got a conflict like this going on, and they're going to break out their capabilities to do what they do. You know, their secret hidden weapons. That's the best way to defeat an enemy is to do it in secret, to do it where it's invisible, an invisible enemy. I'm sure you've heard somebody use that word before too. Invisible enemy. Just like if you can convince a group of people that maybe use a scenario, a group of people that wear white, you know, because white means purity. It means you're doing righteous things. If you can convince people that the people that are wearing white are your friends and that they're righteous and that they're working for you, then if you can flip the script by using those people wearing white to do really bad things, and it's invisible to the people because they can't see it, because they believe those people wearing white are righteous. Over in the Gulf itself, the Strait of Hormuz, for the most part, it still looks like it's not a lot happening. I do see what looks like ships still coming into, let's look at its track. This one is driving backwards and forth, as you can see. It's went backwards and forth several times now, but at this point, it's up here and is moving forward, I guess you'd say. And so maybe it's going to be allowed to move into Iran. Looks like that's where they're kind of headed. And it says it's currently underway at 6 knots. And the most recent update was 28 minutes ago. These ships, just like airplanes, have transponders on them. that are tracked by systems that, track those kind of things. And just like with airplanes that have transponders on, if the airplane turns its transponders off, you end up with most of it going away like that. So like with military activities and such, they tend to turn those off when they're going to do bad things, you might say. Now, this airplane is flying, Air India is flying right over Iran, no problem, and apparently no fear of getting shot down. This one, however, is coming from Moscow to Dubai, and it's a Arab Emirates airplane, and it's flying right over Iran. No worries, apparently. Interesting things you see and makes you wonder, because if I was on this airplane, knowing that Iran has been bombing United Arab Emirates, it'd make me a little nervous to fly over Iran, unless you've been given some kind of guarantee. But even that would still make me nervous. I might want to just fly around this way, like all these other planes are doing, right? But that's just me. Oh, all right, guys. I just wanted to bring another update today. I'm kind of trying to keep up with this stuff a little bit as to what's going on. And instead of me just doing it and not sharing it, I just decided I'd record it, okay, and put it out there for y'all guys so you can kind of see as well. All these maps, these systems I'm using, are available online, like this NASA map, if you want to look it up. It's called the FIRMS, NASA FIRMS, FIRMS, and you can look up and see these things for yourself. I don't know how well it works on a cell phone, but on a computer it works really well. And like this system here, this is called SAGE, SAGE, the Interactive Earthquake Browser, okay? And it gives you options over here, and it'll pull in wherever you identify the region at. You can pull in everything that's going on based on the parameters that you set over here, okay? So feel free to take a look at this stuff for yourself. There's nothing hidden here, or nothing magical that I've got, other than I try to look at this stuff and make some logic out of what's going on. And yeah, so there is that. All right, guys, I love you. I'm going to get out of here, not waste any more of your time. Have a great day.
I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.